Welcome back to the LEC. Lions go 3-0 in the Super Week, but it wasn't enough for them to secure playoffs, unfortunately. Mac, thank you so much for joining me for this interview. This will be a voice-only video since I know that you have webcam issues, but I'm happy to hear you.
Thank you very much. Nice to see you and hear you, I guess.
My pleasure. Talking a bit about today, I think it was a bit bittersweet entering the game knowing that it wouldn't have any playoffs implication. How did you manage your players' expectations going into this one?
Certainly very bittersweet. I think we tried to maintain the same mentality that we've had in practice for the last week. Even after last week, we knew it was really, really tough. Unfortunately, we had some hope today, which made it even harder at the end. Yeah. But yeah, I think we all just wanted to put our best foot forward, and we wanted to prove that we can show a level of gameplay that we can be proud of as a team. Because you know, there's a lot of work that's gone into this, and even though the end result has been disappointing, we still want to at least show what we've put all of this effort into.
Yeah, you fought up until the end, and we saw a glimpse of what could the Lions be in summer. Talking about the season in general, it's obviously a disappointment that you guys don't make playoffs, but how do you reflect on the growth of the Mad Lions, but also the struggles that you guys have been living through?
I think looking back, there are... I think we had many opportunities to showcase that we deserve to make playoffs, and ultimately we missed one too many of them, right? Like sometimes you will have days where like mechanically the fights go your way and execution goes your way, and it's really important that on those days you capitalize and bring it home. And then, you know, the days that we ended up in a situation where we absolutely had to win, and for example the XL game, like that was a day where just kind of nothing went our way, like nothing seemed to click mechanically, and at that point I felt like we'd kind of run out of chances, you know, to actually to prove that we deserve to be in the playoffs. So in that regard, I think it's I guess not a surprise for a lot of people that we didn't make it in the end. I think, you know, I will always try to be a process-focused person. For me, life is about the journey, and that's how I am when I'm winning, and that's how I want to be when I'm losing. And you know, there's lots of stuff to take away from this for me, and ultimately I'm still fulfilled and doing a job that I love, right? It just means that I have to do better next split.
For sure, and yeah, you will bounce back for sure in summer. When I was talking to Yoya 2 days ago, he also mentioned the fact that you and the whole Mad Lions coaching staff obviously have played a huge part in keeping the team spirit together and keeping their hopes up. Can you talk me through maybe how you did it in terms of cheering them up and making sure that they would still just thrive and fight up until the end?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to give a shout out to all of the coaching staff members that we work with, especially to Pad, to Cass, and to Jake, who I think have all put a huge amount of effort in the last couple of weeks into making sure that we as a team still have fun, and that we don't kind of disregard the fact that we are all, you know, people who've put a lot of work in, and people who all want the same thing, and that at the end of the day, we still want to have fun and enjoy the process, even in the worst possible scenarios. And a lot of what I've tried to bring to the team is, again, like taking care of people and making sure that they're heard, but mostly just making sure that we have the right mentality towards failure. You know, I think it's, I think failure is a necessary part of any competitive career. I think that's part of what makes you a great competitor, is the ability to bounce back from failure. And so I've tried to make sure that we approach things with that mentality, right? I don't mind that we fail once in a while. I mind how we fail and then what we take away from it.
Yeah, and you learn so much more also through failure, I feel, but focusing a bit more on summer and the expectations there. We saw a lot of good things from the Mad Lions, especially this week. Finding this pocket pick, I mean, this comfort picks again, but also a style that suits you guys better. What kind of improvements can we expect from the Mad Lions in summer, and maybe some changes?
I think the big thing that I would like to focus on for us as a team is just making sure that we team fight really well. I think that's something that was a huge focus, and I think that's the thing that like separated us from the 3 teams that we won against this weekend, was our team fighting, which improved a lot. And I think if I had been able to identify that earlier in the split, and if we'd been able to work on that earlier in the split instead of doing some of the other things that I was trying to work on with the team, then maybe we'd be in a different situation. You know, I mean, there are so many games that we lost from an advantage position that I think if our team fighting had been better earlier, then we'd be in playoffs now. You know. And so that's on me, and that's something that I'm really motivated to work on going forwards.
Well, the season is a marathon after all, so we'll see you guys in summer, of course. Mac, thank you so much for all these insights and all these answers about Mad Lions, and enjoy this off-season. We'll see you in summer.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. And we have 2 more games to go today in this Super Week, so back to you, Sjokz, for Excel versus Fnatic.
Thank you very much, Laure. Always lovely to hear from Mac, be it in victory or in defeat, giving some information, and also looking forward to summer with the roster. Unfortunately, the Mad Lions are out, and for Excel, that means that they are in together with Vitality. And we wanted to go down memory lane a little bit with Excel because it is so historic, the fact that they made it to the playoffs ahead of their next game versus Fnatic. In fact, they started their road to victory in 2015, and they hired a rookie named Verius. This is real. This is not photoshopped. Well, his head is photoshopped onto the thing. But yeah, he actually used to play mid lane for them. And I think this, if anything, shows how far they've come. Guldborg.
I mean, yeah, I remember Excel as well just being a UK team that we just had in the Academy Leagues as well.
Yeah.
Before Excel actually joined on the biggest stage, like my former co-cast of mine, Orcs as well, has been down. It's like Excel has actually hoarded a little bit of the casters today now that the former players, but it's great to see that the long road is finally paying off.
Yeah, and just to paraphrase the word just a little bit, 2019. Oh, there he is. Caedrel, so 2019, really bad, 9th and 10th. Then Patrik and Youngbuck joining in 2020. It went better, but lots of 7th places. They got so incredibly close that one split as well, and now they made it. And I think for if you're someone who's both been working with the team for so long, like Youngbuck or Patrik, who's been on this roster now for so long, Nisqy, it starts to wear you down, I can imagine, if you don't make it to those playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, because you start to like question yourself. You're like, am I the issue? Like, what am I doing wrong? And then I feel it also felt like they were always doing better, but it was never enough. So I feel like this year they really wanted to go all out. Like we saw them like change in early split and go and get Mikyx, for example, and yeah, it shows that they really wanted to make playoffs, and congrats to them, they made it.
Yes, and now the question is, how are they going to do in the playoffs? Perks in an interview, because they will be playing Vitality, said, well, I don't think they're an easy opponent by any means, because, yeah, you know, they ended up kind of in the same way as the standings as them, right? Yesterday, they did beat SK, and that was probably what we want to see from them. Can you tell us what that was?
I mean, I don't think they'll be able to come into the same situation this time around, because you see Ryze, Jinx, Thresh, like, they kind of got away with a draft that is, like, completely illegal on this patch, I feel like. While SK, they've played around with Renata, so I think they played with a little bit of a free pass, which made it quite easy for them to teamfight once we came to the mid game, once we started to gear up around these objectives, and especially with SK walking into them. Against the likes of Fnatic today, you're going to have to replicate that with probably a harder to execute composition than the one you got yesterday, and you're going to be relying on your mechanical skills in these teamfights. I think Patrik, though, has been great on these carries, and he has stepped up. You mentioned him as well. He's waited a long time for it. I think you can show some potential against Fnatic.
I'm glad you mentioned this next game upcoming versus Fnatic, because Fnatic is still in the running to get that first place. And yesterday, they had a very disappointing game. I think, Nisqy, right? They will have something to make up for after that comeback that the Misfits were able to pull off versus them, which is not very common, I think, for this Fnatic roster so far.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like they played pretty good the whole game till they gave away some shutdowns and they lost some team fights. And then I think also enemy team had Jinx, so it made it easier for themselves. But I think Fnatic will probably just clean it up today and just go off with a really great victory.
Yeah, Yamato 2 days ago said in PGL said that we will be #1 at the end of the season, meaning including the playoffs. Otherwise, it will be a huge embarrassment. So this is a guy that absolutely wants to get that #1 spot also in the regular season. The bot lanes are going to be very important, as they always are, but specifically when you're playing Fnatic and Excel. Patrik and Mikyx up versus Upset and Hylissang. And Patrik finally made his first playoffs, of course, and there's also Upset in this bot lane matchup, chasing that death record. He's currently at 11. Reckless in Spring 2018 had 13. So, well, you don't want to die, actually. That's the whole point, right?
That's the thing. Put Upset back on Estral, comfort due to the one we know him from back in the day, and keep the precedent safe. Get Tom Kench down in that bot lane, have an enchant in the mid lane. Fine. Hey, keep that KDA. Way more impressive.
Yeah, the VTO record didn't happen, so maybe
we need one record today. Just one.
Yes. Nisqy, so when it came to Fnatic, I think we changed our tune a little bit, because it was all about, oh, they're the favorites going into the playoffs, this, that. Yesterday, then that shock loss to Misfits. How do you feel about them now?
I mean, I think yesterday's loss was probably just like a one-time thing, I feel like. I feel like they had the game into their hands and they threw. But I believe today, as I said, I hope they play really good and they would maybe show us on like how they would look already in playoffs. I think it's really important for them to play a clean game and show everyone that like they can be scary, and maybe even like pick Renata again. Maybe, you know, like show that you can still play other champions and. Yeah, look scary, I guess, is the goal.
Yeah, on a serious note, I kind of want to double down on that as well, because the early games have been super clean as well. No, my serious note, not Nisqy.
No, I thought you said serious nose. It was our bad.
Thing, but it's fine.
Oh, sorry. My apologies. I'll start over. We'll take it slow. There we go.
It's me, not you.
I think I completely lost it.
I'm so sorry. It sounded like nose.
Oh, I got it. Okay, so I feel like they need to double down on the early game as well, where they are just the scariest team we've kind of had in the league. Like, and it's quite clear, like when they are throwing it, it comes to the position as a team that you sometimes get a little too confident. You take some of these team fights you really didn't have to. Like even the games against Misfits, it's like, oh, we always stayed a little too long. We still got the inhibitor, but you want to be able to get these net gains without losing anything else in it. Like just be sure to take it completely clean.
Yeah, and again, jumping on because of go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say I think Fnatic right now is, for me at least, the cleanest team in the early game. Or I feel like if they get the mid push, like the TF, the Rise, I feel like those are the champions that Humanoid excels on, and I feel like Fnatic can play it really well because also their Bolden is like the best in EU, if not the West. So I want to see them exceed the expectations of everyone and just kind of beat everyone down, I guess.
Yeah, there is also a slight possibility that we still get like a tiebreaker, which would be Fnatic G2 at the end of the day. But that would be really delicious before the playoffs. But it might not happen, though. Fnatic do need a win here to secure a top 2 finish and have a chance at first place. So let's send it over to Drakos and Caedrel for picks and bans.
Hey, welcome. We're getting ready for picks and bans. We're excited about a potential tiebreaker. Definitely cast your bias here because we would like that game. A G2 Fnatic tiebreaker would be absolute banger. But for now, we'll focus on Fnatic Excel. Remember, again, Excel playing Vitality no matter what they do for Fnatic, fighting for seeding still at the top of the table. So important game. But for both teams, I think the more important thing, as you heard highlighted, we're going to talk about later because it's time for picks and bans. As I was saying, this is the start of a best-of-5 preview. Both these teams have made it into playoffs. Excel for the first time, Fnatic for the miniest time. I think it's 18th now.
Damn.
Big. I just pulled that number. I think I just remember last split it being 17, so that's
remember,
approximate.
Excel beat Fnatic for their first time in Spring Split earlier on.
Yeah, true. Big year for Excel.
I think it was 12 losses they had in a row, and now they're 1-12, so definitely still in Fnatic's favor. But in Spring Split, Excel have the upper hand. Bans coming through. We see Hecarim taken away, a Rise taken away. Lots of the OPs. We heard Nisqy talk about the TF and the Rise and the roaming mids just being so beneficial for Fnatic.
And that's interesting, but and important, and I agree with Nisqy. I think his analysis is spot on. But I, frankly, would just love to see something different in the bot lane. We saw Renata from Hylissang. I would love to see more different AD carries because I feel like, while yes, on 12-5, Jinx and Aphelios remain completely and totally untouched, I do want to see what else people have up their sleeves because a lot of teams have been banning away the Jinx and Aphelios, and that's when we see the Jins come out, and it's just a different flavor, you know?
Okay, well, yeah, definitely. I mean, we'll see what Fnatic's last ban is because that could decide. A lot of teams could ban like Jinx here, first pick Aphelios, ban Aphelios, first pick Jinx, and then you kind of have your AD bot matchup in your favor because right now 3 AD carries are open, so one goes through if Fnatic ban it away.
The other big one to look at is obviously the Zeri.
So Aphelios banned, XL could choose to ban Zeri here, but then you draft yourself into a hole where they get Jinx first pick. So what is actually probably best for them is just to leave both open, because otherwise you're just trading into nothing. What do you get for a first pick AD if you ban away Jinx here and they get Zeri? Well, you get a Zhao, I guess. I mean, that's probably the best bet you have, some kind of jungle pick. But
maybe the priority mid laner, because Nisqy highlighted both the Rise and the TF, and those have both been taken away, so maybe further limiting the mid pool of Humanoid. But instead the Thresh, so limiting some of the pairings that can come through. But it is going to be the Zeri first pick, sort of as expected here. Wanted to give them the option of the Jinx or the Zeri, but did not want them to have the Thresh to pair with the Jinx.
Smart ban, I think, by Fnatic there. When all 3 ADs are up and you have last ban, you force them into a trade. They are going to get Jinx and Zhao as expected on the 1-2, but again, you've traded it for Zeri, so we'll see how much upset can get done on that champion itself. You have a few options on blue side here because you're blind picking a lot of roles anyway. You could go support jungle, or you could just go for something like mid jungle.
And Zeri, I think, is a 40-60 split on physical and damage, magic damage, so you could go for a Diana Yasuo here if you wanted to, and still have a pretty good damage profile even with AD solo laners.
We'll see how they opt into because it'll spell it out here for us. Okay, so LeBlanc picked up for Humanoid. That could be a Lee Sin or a Viego in the jungle straight away for Razork. It would make sense to just go full mid jungle here and drop support because there's a lot of pairings with Zeri. And of course, Hylissang is extraordinary when it comes to picking support on 4-5, even if you try to ban him out. I mean, Thresh is gone, but Rakan is his bread and butter. We've seen Zillion, we've seen Renata, we've seen all that good stuff. Nautilus pick, I think, would be more of a takeaway from XL because Nautilus tends to be very good into Zeri LeBlanc because these champions are mobile and Nautilus is a point-and-click lockdown. They are going to go for the Viego instead. Might have preferred Lee Sin for the setup, but Razork has had comfort on Viego. I expect XL to take that Nautilus now because I think Fnatic were hovering it as a denial pick.
And again, as Viego gets it going, he is such a hard champion to stop. LeBlanc can often be enough upfront damage for Viego to come in and get the resets. Very scrappy, very mobile team from the side of Fnatic. The Zeri and LeBlanc, obviously, pretty powerful, pretty slippery champions. See what XL want to do if they're going to draft more kind of front-to-back options. The Nautilus, as you predicted, could have been taken away by Fnatic, but instead they did opt for the Viego, and XL felt pressured, it feels like, into taking that option.
I mean, Nautilus just feels like one of the strongest supports in the game right now for early rotations, especially pairs well with Philios, pairs well with Jinx, really good team fight, and especially when you have Zeri and LeBlanc on your team. Nautilus point-and-click ult is very hard to deal with. Support bans coming out. It's very hard to ban out Hylissang, but Leona already taken away. Engage supports, maybe an Alistar ban, a Tahm Kench ban would be good as well. But again, does Tahm Kench pair very well with Zeri when things like Rakan, Yuumi are still open? Malzahar taken from Nukeduck. I believe he has one game on Malzahar this split. I remember he played into a LeBlanc, cancelled. It was Caps' TP towards top. So mid-ban's coming in to prevent any counters to this LeBlanc. I think the next two champions that come to my mind are Vex and Lissandra. So I think Nukeduck should have something on 4, regardless of these bans.
And I think that's big, and obviously one of the big strengths of Nukeduck over the years, he has been a player who is willing to play just about anything in the mid lane if he thinks it's a solid matchup. Rakan being taken away as well, limiting Hylissang's options. Remember, this is the trade that was set up by Fnatic. They opted to take their jungler when they could have taken a support instead. Now both sides banning the mismatch role. In this case, mid, Fnatic banning up to set Humanoid up for a better matchup, and XL banning away supports to set the bot side, Patrik and Mikyx up for a better matchup.
So I think Fnatic realized there's 2 or 3 mids open into this LeBlanc. Ahri, Vex, Lissandra. We could ban one, but Nukeduck's going to get his hands on one either way. Let's ban Irelia. Now, what that spells out to me is a blind pick Gnar or Jayce. Some kind of ranged top laner is being blinded here for Wunder. Either of the two wouldn't surprise me too much, which will give counter pick to Finn. Of course, they are on red side. And mid lane pick type here for Nukeduck.
I like
Not
Lissandra.
a surprise. Lissandra makes sense. Again, it's just point-and-click CC. They have so much mobility. Nautilus, Lissandra make so much sense into their draft. And we'll see what they decide to blind pick. Mostly, not blind pick, but support pick is what's on my mind. Jayce blind pick wouldn't surprise me. But what does Hylissang pull out here? Something like Braum wouldn't pair so well, I think. I mean, the lane phase would be good, but into their champions, maybe you need something more engage-heavy.
Something maybe
or
potentially,
peel.
yeah, more dynamic as well.
Yeah.
Big thing that I'm looking at here is Lissandra passive. If it does come to front-to-back teamfights, XL are super well set up. Yes, Lissandra's damage profile isn't as high as a champion like LeBlanc, but in full-on 5v5, she gets a couple passive resets. It can be massive.
Oh, wait.
Renata?
Did we just get...
Wait.
Ooh, okay.
Time machine production.
Time machine production, indeed.
Right.
It looks like it's going to be...
Or good prediction. And it is going to be Renata Glasc. That's... All right.
I mean, they do have divers. Lissandra, Nautilus, Zhao are going in. We'll see what Finn can get out of the value of last pick here into the Jayce. I mean, Gwen is up. What else do you have open into Jayce? I mean, the Aurelia's down. Not so much huge counters. Malphite wouldn't work too well. Camille would make more sense in terms of diving, but again, another melee champion into Renata. That's 3 of them. Lissandra going in will probably get hit too. We'll see how much work Hilly can get done in those fights, but Fnatic already setting themselves up with a really good 1-3-1 with Jayce, LeBlanc over side. And important to note the amount of poke Fnatic have. LeBlanc, yes, she can one-shot the support if they get caught, if it's an Enchanter or the Jinx, but she does a lot of poke damage, especially on Dragons, W forwards, QRE onto the enemy jungler. Yeah. He's out the fight. So great 1-3-1 and great poke.
And it's interesting to me because there are 3 champions who are all very good at shutting down the LeBlanc on the opposite side. Camille, obviously not ideal because she can just pull you back a little bit with that instant casting, but Lissandra all point and click. You've got the Nautilus ult as well. So this is going to be a really tough game for Humanoid if he cannot find that early lead. That said, a lot of powerful early game champions on the side of Fnatic. Wunder on the Jayce, a big deal. So often we've seen him in weak side jail. Maybe this time around he gets a little bit more attention to support him.
Yeah, and XL have one side later in the Camille. If she's ahead, she can deal probably with the LeBlanc or the Jayce, but a lot of team fight, a lot of dive. Jinx one reset, a lot of kind of AoE damage coming out of XL.
Here we are, moments away. Remember, both teams in playoffs, Fnatic fighting to move higher up. XL will be playing Vitality in the first round, but it's time, XL versus Fnatic. Here we are on to Summoner's Rift. And I want to recap the standings and the stakes of this game, because while it is about seeding is important here in the LEC, and right now it looks like no one is going to murder each other. So we'll take this brief moment to bring up the standings and talk about it. All right, stakes for this game. Fnatic, if they win, they lock top 2, and they will be first seed if Rogue lose to G2 in our final game of the day. If Excel win, Rogue are automatically locked first, Misfits are second, and if G2 win, there's going to be a tiebreaker game for third between Fnatic and G2. So Excel winning has some immediate effect, and if G2 then win later in the day, we get a sweet tiebreaker. But for now, Fnatic focused on locking top 2 and hoping that G2 can find a win so they can get first place in the regular season.
And of course, if they win, they are one step closer to getting first place, first seed, to choose who you play, of course, between third and fourth in that upper bracket match. So quite important, I think. And Fnatic being third, I think there's going to be maybe an awkward scenario where maybe you have G2 and Fnatic in third and fourth. Who does Rogue really choose if they finish first? It's quite a tricky one.
It's like you have to pick G2 probably, but nothing feels great.
Normally it does. It feels like in the playoffs there's like that one team where like, oh, maybe they're a tiny bit weaker, but when it's G2 Fnatic, it's like, damn. Either way, it's going to be tough. And that's just the nature of playoffs in general. Wunder going to get a little bit of early trading onto Finn, has the range advantage into the Camille, will be able to push Finn in, of course. If the Camille gets ahead, it's quite dangerous for Jayce, especially level 6. They have good gank setup. And one thing to draw your attention to is Nukeduck running the Ignite on Lissandra. Now, LeBlancs don't tend to use Cleanse, of course. They normally just go towards Merc Treads in their first kind of 10 to 15 minutes early build to negate a lot of the ult. As Mikyx hooks Hylissang, nothing will come of it. But I mean, the Ignite, just so much burst damage, so much kill pressure, but he won't have TP for side lanes. Lissandra's so good at, similar to Ryze, shadowing their top laner and looking for side lane plays.
Handshake pulling Patrik back to extend the trade. Good early damage. Hostile takeover as well comes out from Hylissang. As I just read off ability names, feels so good.
Emotes coming up, Patrik having a laugh. What is that champion? We'll see what it can get done, because Razork just full clear towards top. Full clear his top side and is moving towards bot side through mid. He just did. Finn jumps onto Wunder.
Well played by Wunder on the hammer blow back there. But pretty even on the top side of the map in terms of trading. That said, CS advantage, or I would say that if there weren't 2 pots and a cookie in favor of Wunder. So he is building a pretty decent lead for himself. His mid lane's not going too bad either. So across the board, Fnatic, small early positives here, but it gives us an opportunity to check in on the junglers as they both are pathing towards the bottom side. I said that they might support Wunder. Forgot that FNC was at the start of their name tags. They're going bot.
They're going bot. They definitely are. Maybe they have some early dive pressure with the Renata W, right? You get the kill, you get the reset on your HP bar, come back to life with 20%, and maybe just drop tower aggro or something like that. So Markoon's here to cover it. They also have very good setup with Nautilus. And another thing, just to bring back to the Lissandra, not only does Nukeduck have Ignite, he has Electrocute as well. A lot of the times you'll see Lissandra run Aftershock, so when LeBlanc jumps forwards with W, you W her, and then you don't take as much damage in the trade. But definitely going full all-in, full lane phase, full get kills in their backline in teamfights later on. As Razork's level 4, just going to spot out Markoon, gives a little bit of information to his laners.
Mikyx moving first, but it is going to give the Fnatic bot lane control over the wave. They already had it, but a little bit more of it. Minion Dematerializer coming out from Mikyx, maybe hoping to be able to counter push if Fnatic try to take a greedy recall.
Looks like Fnatic have push in all 3 lanes right now. And as much as, yes, you can say they can play for count jungle, it's a bit hard on first clear. Yes, you can hover around, but because they're under their towers, they can move first. I mean, you saw Mikyx already collapse before Hylissang was nearby because they're pushing the wave. So counter jungling, not so much what Razork's looking for. He's looking for, 1, getting his team early resets. Wunder's already come out of base and saved TP. Upset's already coming out of base as well. That's what lane push helps you get. Faster resets into lane to keep up that tempo, or covering your laners to make sure they can't get ganked, which is what Razork was doing there, just hovering around his mid laner to make sure he can keep contesting the wave. So not so much counter jungling will happen unless it's like an early Raptor on second spawn.
Yeah. Both junglers have reset. Early Sheen for Razork is going to increase the clear speed, but now we have a bit of an evade coming in from Markoon as they have mid prio. Have been forced back a little bit. A bit of revenge for the earlier blue buff invade, as now Razork is going to be forced to walk away. Flash hook from Mikyx is certainly an option, as well as the Ignite. He's under the tower. Misqy not going to flash over the wall, go for the auto Ignite. Doesn't want to risk it. But that is control of the top side, and despite early lane pressure, some good trading in the mid lane from Nukeduck, with right of the gank from the side of Markoon means they are able to take a few camps back.
A little bit of damage onto Patrik. Mikyx cheated tempo there a bit. His bot lane was getting pushed in non-stop, but he just took a base knowing Hylissang was staying in the lane to keep the wave in a good state, and he just bases, sacks Patrik and runs towards top, knowing that Fnatic have no dive pressure. They will force Razork out and get a Gromp for Markoon, but Razork will go back to clearing his camp. So just one small camp advantage for them, and Mikyx will arrive back bot. Patrik did take a little bit of a bad trade, but he's going to heal up. And there's TP coming in from Finn. We'll see if Wunder does the same.
For now, TP advantage for the side of Fnatic. Nukeduck, of course, still has the Ignite in the mid lane, something to keep track of, but the Merc Treads have already come through from Humanoid. No surprise, you called it out already. Very good first item into this matchup. MR and the Tenacity crucial to surviving any potential early ganks. That is the TP match, so Finn's TP actually will come up first in any future plays, but for now, obviously until Teleport's unleashed, mostly just a laning spell.
Razork's waiting for Fnatic to push in bot here. Now the wave's collapsing. Now is when they can look for some kind of counter jungle. They know the Gromp is up, but Mikyx can always be there in rotation because he's obviously very close to his own jungle. Markoon's here. It's going to be a 3v3 for now, but Humanoid could move first if he wants to.
Razork level 4 to Markoon's level 5. Easy start to the fight. Flash forward from Mikyx. Markoon and the rest of XL feel set up to win this one. Hylissang should go down here. Renata is so incredibly squishy. They want to find the reset. Razork fishing for it. He's going to get one, but he can't quite get the reset. Hylissang over the wall. One auto. Not quite able to get it. The rocket, the Guardian. Just on the edge of death, but here comes Nukeduck. Humanoid going to be forced to dash out. May have to flash or use his second dash. Just trying to turn it back. This is greedy. Over the wall. They're taking their time. It looks like they picked the wrong LeBlanc. Humanoid, absolute genius move. It was a coin flip, and Nukeduck, well, the coin came up heads. Did not guess the right LeBlanc, and that means Humanoid will walk away clean.
Wow, that looked like it wasn't going to end in a 1-for-1. Surely someone was going to die as well on the side of Fnatic, but no, they get out. Razork was level 4 in this fight, and instantly when Markoon sees him, he just jumps on him. He knows there's no real threat unless Hylissang can land the kind of double stun, but there's no one near him really, so Mikyx follows through with the flash hook, and Patrik's in a very awkward spot here, because yes, Hylissang's very low HP, but if he flashes over that wall to get the kill, he's dying as well, because Upset will win the 1v1. Yes, Markoon's behind him, but Humanoid can just dash forwards and Patrik's dead, so doesn't opt for the 1-for-1 trade on AD kills. And luckily for XL, Razork couldn't get the reset on Mikyx's Nautilus afterwards. Nukeduck, of course, just choosing the wrong clone here. He has Ignite up, but he's very hesitant. He's like, if I Ignite the wrong clone here, that's such a waste. And then the chain hits onto Nukeduck, so he can't finish up the kill. Finn fighting top here. Markoon's behind him, but Razork's reading the play.
Finn with the ultimate. Markoon on the way forward. Finn can back under his tower to be relatively safe here. Razork stepping forward to help pressure, but Markoon wants to finish the kill. That said, there's so much damage between Razork and Wunder.
I thought they had a kill there, XL, because Wunder kind of tried to flash E with the Jayce hammer to knock Finn back, but he actually knocked him forwards and flashed on top of him, so a bit of an awkward series of events, but XL get out with nothing. Wunder gets the wave under tower, which is what he wanted in the first place, and they're going to back off.
Razork going on a bit of a journey around. Keep your eyes on the bot lane, though. Instead, Hylissang getting engaged on. This is the weakness of Renata. She's so easy to get, but they get the kill. They get the reset. That's the bailout coming through clutch for Hilly. Upset now looking for the sidestep. They can try to turn this back onto Patrik. Humanoid on the way forward. There's no way out, but maybe he can get one kill back. Flash in from Patrik.
No.
That was greedy. Upset grabs it.
2v2 goes in favor of Fnatic. Patrik could have run away there, but Humanoid was behind him. And XL tried to punish the no-flash Renata. They also had level 6 on their AD carry, so they fancied themselves the 2v2, but the reset came in. Mikyx fell, and Patrik couldn't clean up, so another 2 kills over to Fnatic now.
And of course, as we look ahead towards playoffs, it's important to highlight some of the players that we want to watch. Now, Fnatic is certainly a team of superstars, but Upset is a player we want to keep our eyes on. Remember, 13 deaths is the death record set by Reckless in 2018. Upset currently at 11 coming to the game. We'll hold that thought because the fighting's not going to stop. Markoon getting engaged on Unstoppable from Razork is clean. That's the reset. Now they got a stolen Zinzao. Nukeduck stepping forward, holding onto the ultimate. They grab at least one kill, but Razork went down, actually wasn't able to grab the reset. Now they have to retreat here.
I think he ticked on the Ignite the second he tried to pick up the Soul and ended up falling. So 2 kills over to XL on a play that they forced. Fnatic do arrive in time and Upset's here. Patrik's matching, but XL don't have any ultimates to work with, but Humanoid wants more.
Mikyx no hook for a few more seconds, trying to get out of this one, goes over the wall, is just going to get cut down. Nukeduck now has to run. So many of these exchanges have been so incredibly close. Humanoid always playing so risky, so forward, but just on the edge, not going to get caught out, not going to get knocked down. Nukeduck not able to effectively use that ultimate. Still has the Ignite, has not used the Ignite, and this has been a difficult early lane phase.
Might look for a Drake here. They'll get a bot crab for Razork as well. Razork's the one who's losing out on these plays, but Fnatic overall is winning, coming out on top on every single play that's being forced by themselves or XL. And they're not going to transmit into a Drake. Upset's looking for Patrik.
Yep. 3-0-1 though. For Upset is terrifying. Once that Trinity Force is completed, he's going to be so oppressive. Wunder winning out on the top side, but Finn coming back, level 8, has that advantage.
This is where Finn has kill pressure. If he lands the E, he can follow up with the ult, and bad trades for Wunder means Finn can look for all-ins. I think Wunder wants to poke Finn out before the fight even begins, because I think in a straight-up 1v1, Finn can win out at this point in the game. Fnatic still have that bot push going for them. Upset sitting on 3 kills right now, so that's going to be very, very scary when he gets his mythic complete. Both junglers up towards the top side. Feels like Mikyx's been hugging Markoon's hand holding Markoon's hand this entire game. Finn.
Razork
no flash just
They
yet.
flash in. Good sidestep from Razork, though. Ulti not available
Flash
quite
in 1
yet.
second.
Needs to go away here. Blast Cone, he can just go over immediately. Knocks Markoon back. Well played by Razork. Does not push any further. Finn going to feel bad about that flash. Upset. Handshake comes through from Hylissang over the wall. That's big damage. He walks in and gets it with an auto. Oh my god, you love to see it. That's a bloodthirsty support play.
Doesn't end, Drakos.
Nope, keeps going. Nukeduck, they're now going to step forward here. Nukeduck has ultimate. He's forced to ult himself. If they overcommit here, the Lissandra resets are going to be big. Razork coming over the wall. Nukeduck getting chipped away at. He just doesn't have any mana. He's going to get cut down. The reset comes through. That's a frozen thrall. Wunder going to take a bit of damage here. Camille comes in and trades it right back. It's an absolute bloodbath.
There's fighting all over the map. Fnatic's bot lane winning out. XL kind of winning out on the top side. Razork did get away there because Finn E-flashed, but Razork did the reversal and went back on himself. But bot push is helping Fnatic out so much. Hylissang's already towards mid. Level 7, halfway to level 8. Mikyx has flash, maybe has to use it.
Oh, level 5. Goodbye, Mr. X. That's all she wrote. Hylissang going to get that kill in the end. Caedrel, Fnatic pulling ahead, but I just love the pace. We're 13 kills at like 12 minutes. Give me 5 games. I am ready for best of 5.
I am really ready for playoffs. These teams in good form, but Fnatic, of course, just in better right now. It's all coming from bot lane. Even this play that XL won out on the top side, they tried to force the Herald, but Hylissang moves mid, kills the enemy support, stops Markoon from taking it. And Razork, these winning lanes are helping him out so much. Wunder's collapsing first on every play. Yes, he's dying as well, but upset 3 kills. Humanoid is a little bit behind in CS and XP right now, but it's all about the bot lane, as is always for Fnatic. Wunder has flash in around 30 seconds time. But maybe XL have it timed.
Yeah, but they know that they're losing out, so they're taking a risk, a bit of a gamble here. Markoon, there's so many camps up. He could be farming, he could be getting XP. Instead, he's sitting in this lane waiting for the setup. But Wunder not taking the bait, not stepping forward. He spent so much time, 30 seconds on the top side, doing nothing. But now they've committed. Now they're turning it back. He's knocked back, but he can't knock them both back. That's going to be the knockup. That should be the finish. Well played. The gamble pays off. XL find the kill.
Oh, just 1 more second. I think Markoon was channeling his recall and he'd be out. Now it's a 1v1 of AD carries towards the bot side because Hylissang's roaming top. Yes, they got the kill onto Wunder, but he has TP. Humanoid has mid push. Markoon's alone in the river with no flash.
Caught out. Should be no way out of this one. Crescent Guard gonna buy him a little bit of space to work with. Nukeduck on the way in. Maybe the health bars are low enough, but he does not feel comfortable committing. Humanoid healing up. Mikyx on the way forward just to try to stop it, but Upset going over the wall. That's gonna be all to keep your eyes on the 1v1. Patrik already used his ult up to the top side. Nothing gonna come from it.
Finn's TPing. There's 3 members of Fnatic here now. Wunder's TP to mid tower, but they have a lot of damage on Nukeduck. Mikyx still not level 6 though.
Hostile takeover. Did Mikyx get that one? Mikyx not walking away? Nope. No. Razork got it.
But Mikyx, why is Mikyx trying to steal the Herald in front of 3 people of Fnatic, and they have a smite, so a bit confusing there. Finn TP'd back to try and help. He's found Humanoid now.
Caught out. Should be able to grab this one, or will he? The chains, the outplay. Razork now stepping forward. That's going to be the stun. Just going in for the auto, just for a little bit of extra damage. Picks off the kill, too. That is 2 very embarrassing moments for the side of XL.
Wherever the camera goes, there's a fight now. There's one in mid. Nukeduck might fancy it because Markoon's behind him.
Markoon over the wall. Wind becomes lightning, but it won't connect. Wunder goes in. Absolute mad lad. Bailout comes out. They're waiting for it to tick away. Meanwhile, Herald on the top side. And Fnatic, they're just making too many plays. Every single lane on the map, they're also taking top tower at the same time. They're suddenly 7k ahead.
They're 7k ahead. I didn't even check the gold lead the Fnatic have. They just got this first tower of the game in top. Hang on a second, they got bot tier 1 anyway. Upset got the gold earlier on as they were fighting towards the Herald because he zoned away Patrik. So Fnatic winning every skirmish and translating into so many map leads. Towers falling across the map. And yes, Humanoid's down in CS a little bit, but he's roaming absolutely everywhere. 4 shutdowns on all of Fnatic other than Wunder. And Mikyx still 2 levels down on Hylissang, who's basically been everywhere.
Yeah. Mikyx trying to make plays happen, throwing his life away sometimes in the case of that Herald play, but Fnatic. At 14 minutes, when you have a 6k gold lead, the game is over, sadly. There are tools for XL to come back. They've got a Lissandra. They've certainly got more than enough point-and-click CC that they can find these shutdowns and shut them down. But the way that Fnatic have been playing, despite all that CC, would lead me to believe that this is feeling like a Fnatic win.
You say that, Drakos, but I cast my mind back to yesterday when Fnatic threw the game. And they were so far ahead.
Okay.
And it looked like they were going to close the game. And there was a couple of pauses, but they lost. And
that's true.
That's a bit of hopium, maybe for XL. I mean, it was Misfits. They are the comeback kings. They had a DC. They had 7k gold deficit.
Yep. Razork did just get caught, and there is a big shutdown. No follow-up on the Nautilus ult, though, as Finn is ahead on the top side.
He has ult as well. He can drop tower aggro, maybe look for the full-on dive.
Just waiting for his cooldowns to come back up. Knock back from Wunder's a bit early, though. He's not taking tower aggro. Rocket goes a little bit wide. He should just be able to finish that one. Solo kill for Finn on the top side. All that top side pressure coming in from Markoon finally paying off as Finn starts to pull ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Wunder's just been falling behind so many times. Yes, he's there for the plays and he helps out, but he's never really gotten anything from what Fnatic are doing, so they're still really far ahead. The only real winning lane, I guess, right now is the top lane for XL. And I think Fnatic, this game is about showing us that your mid to late game is good. Yes, we've seen it in some games. We've seen a couple throws every now and then, more recent times. I mean, you heard Nisqy talk about it. Their early game is just fantastic. Yeah. We heard it on the desk. Their early game is probably one of the best in the league, and we're seeing it right here. It's just a case of can they transition it into a win, and can their mid to late game be clean? They have the champions to do it. They have the gold lead to do it. They only have one dragon at 15 minutes, though. The second will be spawning around 4 minutes, and we'll see how they set up around them.
On the opposite side for XL, as this is their first foray as an organization into best of fives, important that you can come back in a best of five. We think back to Mad Lions versus Rogue. How close were we to a 3-0 when Mad were able to bring it back? Because they were clutch, because they did find these avenues in. And XL have the tools to team fight. They have the tools to find a comeback. Yes, it feels a little insurmountable at this particular moment, but for both sides, for Fnatic, we want to see clean finish heading into best of five. For XL, showing that your players can be clutch. A lot of players who haven't seen that same success in a long time is a massive thing.
Yeah, and if anyone's going to do it this game, it's probably Finn with his lead over side lane. We'll see if he can do anything with it. Nukeduck is going to use his E to get away. Didn't invest the ultimate. Fnatic sieging this mid-tier 1 now. 4 people here. XL only have 2 for now. Nukeduck's around, but he's chunked out. Markoon's on the way. And that's just going to be another tower for Fnatic. All 3 outer towers down now on the side of XL.
And the thing is, you have a Jayce, you have a LeBlanc, and most importantly in this case, you have a Renata, which means they're going to poke you. And if you try to commit to them, you're going to start hitting your friends. So it's a very difficult situation for XL to pull the trigger in that instance because it turns against you so quickly.
Yeah, imagine you get it on the Zhao Q3 or the Camille Q2 as you ult across and they just get that last auto attack in. It's going to get the knock up or it's going to hurt. Finn looking for some kind of dive here. You can see the damage he does already with that Sunderer completed. And this is just the only losing spot on the entire map for Fnatic. So all they have to do is cover it with the amount of pushing lanes they have in mid and bot. And they should be dandy. XL trying to play towards it. Maybe shut down any play Fnatic tried to do onto Finn.
Oh. Now Humanoid gonna get the reset, has the stopwatch coming out. Everfrost for Nukeduck, there's so much CC and setup potential here for XL, but Fnatic playing with a lot more respect. You can see Wunder learning from the earlier mistake there.
I think the problem XL have now is Nukeduck's in bot, and there's going to be a lot of fighting around the top side of the map because, again, Finn is the only strong point, and he doesn't have TP to help them out. He only has the Ignite, and he hasn't gotten a huge lead with the Ignite to the point where he can pressure a side lane. Maybe they can trade this for a bot tier 1 if Fnatic full commit, but Humanoid will always have TP to stop that from being able to happen, so the mid to late game macro is always going to be difficult for XL with 1 TP.
True. We talked about this before. Ignite can feel really good, can feel really impactful. Certainly will help against the healing of the likes of Viego or the Zeri.
Yeah, there it is. Just TP behind. Nukeduck's pushing a side lane. They're going to go for it?
They know he's there.
So,
I guess they just...
Oh, Finn TP'd on bot wave.
Got it.
Okay, didn't see it instantly, but yeah, TP from Finn to cover. I mean, when you TP on a pink ward, you can see it on the minimap. But Fnatic, maybe thinking XL are hanging around bot side too much. Too long. Humanoid. Trying to scout out.
Wall dive being gone means Humanoid can step forward and go for a chain. Won't overcommit here though, because again, Nukeduck's ult is a pretty big threat. Distortion has now faded away, so Nukeduck can go over. Humanoid double dash back out though, low cooldown. One of the more obnoxious parts about LeBlanc as you get later in the game, very hard to lock down.
Definitely has a stopwatch as well to buy time, and they're just going to go back to pushing out waves. Finn looking to all-in Wunder. Nukeduck staying around, trying to make the side lane play, but they need to be careful they don't give up their mid-tier 2. Humanoid finds Markoon with the chain.
Markoon just wants to farm his jungle. Doesn't look like it's going to be an option, but he might just be able to one-shot Humanoid. Big damage now coming in. Humanoid running. Mikyx trying to get taken down. The ulti goes wide from Hylissang. No hostile takeover today. But Fnatic with pressure in the mid lane means XL might have to concede this one. Rockets coming in from Patrik. Camille still in the bottom lane.
Wunder TP'd in here as well, so there's no one to match Finn on the bot side. All TPs used in the game, all are down. Now, I think Fnatic are going to try to collapse bot here to stop Finn from taking that bot tier 1. They have objective bounties because of how far behind they are. Nukeduck looking for Razork, trying to slow down the recalls. Stop their tempo, of course. 20 seconds on the Dragon. I think Fnatic are just going to base and set up towards the bot side of the map. Fnatic almost getting themselves a kill onto Mikyx, but the amount of damage Markoon did onto Humanoid was bonkers. Almost one-shot him.
That was big. And again, shows the dangers of Humanoid overstepping and makes it that much more impressive when he does kind of play on the edge there with those cooldowns, but has to be careful with those risks. Did get away with murder earlier when Nukeduck targeted the wrong clone. Fnatic will grab the second Drake of the game. XL going to push in and take an objective bounty, it looks like, on the top side, though. So overall, in terms of gold, much more positive for the side of XL, but it does give Fnatic a later game win condition. Mountain Drake pretty big against the burst damage of Lissandra.
Cross map coming in. Fnatic are going to get the dragon, of course, top tower full, but they're going to get vision towards the bot side of the map for Humanoid to keep up this push. What they're going to do now is match Humanoid into Finn, it looks like, and try to help Wunder farm up to 2 items before he even tries it again. They're going to take away their blue buff. And that will be that XL we're hovering topside to cover. Finn looking for the 1v1, has ultimate.
I like the tack sweep, well played. Humanoid's to find a way around this, but he knows which one is correct. Flash in for the auto and shut down. And again, this is the risk of the LeBlanc. They got a Camille, they have a Lissandra, they have a Nautilus. There's so many champions they could just point and click CC you.
Yeah, definitely very powerful champions into the LeBlanc. Didn't have stopwatch, but now he's picked up a Zhonya. So when he gets ulted, he can buy a little bit of time and then try to dash out. But the lockdown is, there's no real counterplay for him. Nukeduck knows Wunder's here. He has Eclipse for a shield. Everfrost
is slow. Q, a little bit of damage. Ignite now ticking, takes his time, gets the frozen path through, reactivates. Ignite ticking, 100 to 0.
Clean one-shots, winning side lanes for XL, but Markoon
now caught out. Crescent Guard will not be enough. Hylissang laying down the damage. Markoon picked off and just traded kills back and forth on both sides.
So like we talked about from the draft, Finn can win on side lane against both the LeBlanc and the Jayce if he's ahead. Managed to solo kill Humanoid. With the Zhonyas, that'll be a little bit harder. And now Nukeduck wins against Wunder. So maybe Fnatic have to swap it up a bit. Stop going for 1-3-1s, maybe go for some kind of 1-4 with Humanoid over side lane and have this Jayce group up a bit more to push down mid, get a little bit more vision and play for this Baron. Clean 100-0 one-shots from Nukeduck with the Ignite. That's the power of the Electrocute, the Ignite, the burst damage you have. Just, I guess, you're a little bit weaker in teamfights if you can't lock down the enemy AD carry, which will be very hard now that Upset's picked up the QSS.
And that's the big thing that we have not seen yet. It's a full-on 5v5 with Upset in the midst of the fight. Auto-attacking, doing damage, burst firing through people. 2 items in QSS, as you highlighted, means, yeah, not impossible to lock him down. He's got Hylissang next to him most of the time, too, so that's going to be the big difference, is if they can find a fight to leverage Upset. But for now, on the side lanes, they cannot. So Finn can continue to wreak havoc here. Nukeduck could potentially get caught out, but Razork won't go for it.
The good news is, for Fnatic, Humanoid has TP up again, so if Finn tries to dive onto Wunder, or if there's any kind of fight down there, he can TP in, stop the side lane pressure, and then the rest of Fnatic can pressure the rest of the map to see how the waves are playing out. For now, they're pushing on to top tier 2. Finn could probably just look for a full dive.
Shot wall dive, big damage. That's the TP gone from there. Finn doesn't overcommit, though. Honestly, excellent play. Has to be patient on the next cooldown, though. They're trying to lock him up. Again, hookshot wall dive, he's next to it. We got a split play coming out here. They're going to try to lock down Finn. The knockback, but the chain's still connecting. Finn going to be in trouble. He might have to ult to block the next source of damage. Big shield coming in, but Upset's in the area. Meanwhile, on the top side, Razork has been locked up. It might not stop him from getting the reset, though, as he has taken it down. Razork now going to make his way out. It's clean play, and XL not ready for this one. The extra TP coming in, but Wunder, that was a bad TP. That said, it gives Razork enough space, maybe, just maybe, to find the reset. Can he finish off Patrik? Rocket comes in. Big shutdown for the Jinx. It looked so good for Fnatic, but it turned against them in an instant.
As Medic would say, that TP sucked! Wunder TP's in into a Markoon Q3 knockup, gets 2 kills over to Patrik, but Mikyx will end up falling. So despite Humanoid TPing bot, the whole map will turn into a 2-for-3 in favor of Fnatic.
I like it when you quote Medic quoting Kobe. It feels like we're just passing on
yeah, just the chain.
the chain,
It'll
the infinite
keep going.
chain. Iconic League of Legends moments. Great win moments, and Kobe saying that TP sucked.
So, Fnatic still gold lead, still dragon lead. 3rd dragon spawning in 1 minute 30 seconds. Dropping the ball a little bit here and there. I mean, when you're a team, you want to have 1 play going at a time. Unless you're winning out on one side lane, winning out on the other, then 2 plays are fine. But the problem is you have Humanoid TPing bot, the rest of Fnatic fighting top sides. It's a little bit disjointed. Just need to clean it up and play together a bit more. But Finn is the biggest nuisance on Fnatic, for Fnatic right now. Humanoid is going to look to match him, but still down a level. Finn 2 items, a little bit of magic resist in his pocket as well. We'll see who wins out because Wunder's on the way.
Chain going in, but he has the magic damage, shield from the adaptive defenses. Again, he can probably win the all-in, but Humanoid can buy so much time with that Zhonya's that it means Finn can't really fully commit to this one. Again, a split fight here. Hookshot wall dive out to safety, but Finn will just get taken down. Razork going to be in trouble now, but he does good damage. He got the 2v1 before. Can he get the 3v1 this time? Maybe. Going invisible. The hook now manages to connect, but Upset's in the area, and again, Upset is so powerful, but not strong enough to 4v1. Markoon now going in, trying to finish the job. Upset flashing out to safety. Markoon getting dropped. Bit greedy here. Now comes Hylissang. Hostile takeover. He has the flash as well. He can just ulti if he wants to. He's got the handshake to kick things off. Ulti's going to go in. Oh, no! Nukeduck just killed Mikyx! Oh, not like that!
It's cold blood! Right in front of his eyes! He killed his teammate! The betrayal!
Wunder now trying to turn it. He's horrified. He's never seen anything like it. His former teammate killed by his current teammate.
He just looks across to his teammate on the right. He's like, man, why are you going to do me like that? Mikyx looks for the hook, but number disadvantage for them because Fnatic is collapsing. So this all started with Humanoid looking for Finn. The reason he's doing this is, of course, he doesn't win 1v1. But in come Hylissang and Wunder. Extended fight is best for them. Finn ends up dying. But again, disjointed. Why is Razork trying to face check the top side of the map? They have a ping ward on Nash already. They have a little bit of vision. And Upset just cleared midwave, moving towards the bot side because Dragon spawning. Why are we walking into top side of Razork? He ends up falling. There was a little bit of hope here for XL if they can just dive this area and get the kill. Knock up hits, Upset flashes away. Markoon falls. It's a 1-for-1 in junglers on the top side. But then Mikyx just hooks in. Bit confusing play. Because XL didn't really have any damage follow-up, and then this happened. Oh, Nukeduck, no! Oh. He'll even flash forwards to kill him anyway.
Betrayal.
Backstabbed.
By the one who we love most.
Betrayed.
How is he supposed to cope, Caedrel? Oh, yeah, definitely.
Shed a tear.
Reckless with those cooldowns, most certainly. And that's the thing. If you fight into a Renata, it's hard. They, of course, maybe weren't anticipating the Renata, but you can see it's a very scrappy game, despite how scrappy it is, despite the fact that Finn is still difficult to deal with and Wunder being put very far behind. Fnatic are 9K in the lead. They have 3 Drakes, they have 3 more towers. This game is still so difficult for the side of XL.
Yeah, they're hanging on by a thread, and that thread is Finn with the pressure he's putting in bot. We saw it all throughout the game. That's the only pressure point XL have. If you want to just put into perspective how far behind XL are, just look at the AD carry items. Patrik sitting at a Gale Force Rapid Fire. Upset already has 3 items in a QSS. Humanoid just picked up our Rabadons. He's 3 items as well. So definitely in their favor. XL trying to get a little bit of vision for Finn so he can work around what he sees on the map to keep this bot push going. And Fnatic just want to keep flushing it out so Wunder can push out. You can see Humanoids hovering behind him. But every time you commit numbers here, XL can get the push in top or maybe catch a midwave safely. So I won't say time is their worst enemy because I think they're scaling pretty fine as well. Jinx is nowhere near at her strongest point whatsoever yet. Needs a couple more items, but Baron will be their focus once they get Wunder to join the team.
Have to see how XL can execute in the next few minutes as well. We've just seen so many split fights. A lot of Razork getting caught out. Fnatic, when they group, what is their fight going to look like? How will they deal with Nukeduck? We really have just seen Nukeduck in the context of one-shotting Wunder. Haven't really got to see him in any of these bigger exchanges. Evershroud coming out for Mikyx at 27 minutes. Obviously not ideal, but does mean a bit more damage in the fights to come.
Definitely does, and now Humanoid will catch top wave after he helped Wunder push out bot. A little bit of hand-holding going on to make sure no one gets caught. I mean, Fnatic can play it slow as well. Dragon in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. They have got a lot of Nash damage with the Zeri, I believe, and the Viego. But no need to risk it. XL have a really good team fight. And XL ahead in levels. Humanoid just hit level 15. Nukeduck's already sitting on it. Finn's ahead of Wunder. Solo lanes are what's keeping XL alive here. Patrik building towards the Lord Dominic's.
Stun going in onto Mikyx, turning. Remember, he does not have Aftershock. He's going to try to get some stun. CC locked down. Nukeduck ulting himself instead of Upset, but baiting out the QSS nonetheless. The bailout coming through will not be enough. Humanoid now trying to leap into the backside, trying to take down Patrik. Nukeduck has been chipped away. He's got no ult for the reset. Who's going to come out on top? Finn off to the side. Markoon going golden in the midst of the fight, but Humanoid looking to finish the kill. He doesn't quite time the distortion right, but he doesn't need to. Patrik, though, popping off, getting the resets. He's behind in items, but maybe he's got enough power to finish this one out. Scrappy fight in the mid lane. 2 for 1 against Fnatic.
XL still holding on. A lot of things went wrong for Fnatic in this fight because of how split they are. Hylissang doesn't really want to be in this position because the rest of his team is on the other side. They're in mid lane, so 3 members commit onto him. He dies, and Nukeduck just buys time here. Pops the ultimate. Fnatic just running around trying to find the kill. Then pops the Zhonya. Still Fnatic running around. And by the time they realize what's happened, XL are regrouped. They got a kill, and now Humanoid comes back in. Markoon, stopwatches here. Watch Humanoid. The W doesn't hit in time. He mistimes it a bit, so he lives for a second longer, which allows Patrik to step up and get a kill. And then XL, 2 for 1 in their favor. Fnatic have nothing left to turn because Razork's so low HP.
Intense skirmish. And again, Hylissang getting caught off to the side. First death of the game has been pretty clean thus far. Silvermere Dawn now coming in. Big damage comes in, but that's going to be the lockup now. Humanoid's locked down. He's gone golden, but they know exactly who they need to click. TP coming in, but Nukeduck can't join. He's already in the midst of the fight. Razork now going to the backside. He's stolen away the Nautilus. He's going to look for the reset, and this is a big fight for Fnatic. There's the gold lead. There's the straight-up 5v5 they were waiting for. XL obliterated.
I think they can just run it down and end now. They have a wave, 40 seconds on all of XL, and it all comes off the back of Humanoid. Looking for damage onto Mikyx. Upset gets 1,000 kills in the LEC, and he's going to end the game after he gets it.
Fantastic performance from Fnatic. Upset, congrats on 1,000 kills.
0 deaths as well.
Exactly 1,000 kills. He's going to end the season with 11 deaths, the new death record of all time. Masterclass from Fnatic. They will lock themselves in the top 2 and secure Upset 2 significant moments, a milestone, and a personal record. It was an incredible game.
So now Fnatic's eyes are on Rogue versus G2. If Rogue lose, that means that they lock first place.
Fnatic lock first place if Rogue lose.
Yep. Fnatic lock first place if Rogue lose, which means they can choose who they play against in playoffs in the first round in the upper bracket.
The choice would be, of course, between G2 and Misfits. So pretty big. I think Misfits would be looked at as the weaker competitor. They have obviously had a fantastic split thus far, but are yet unproven in best of fives.
And of course, with Fnatic winning means we'll have no tiebreaker between Fnatic and G2 at the end of the day. So Game 5 will be the last game. There won't be a Game 6 to settle any tiebreakers.
We'll shed a single tear for that one because we were kind of hyped for it.
I kind of wanted that, yeah.
Yeah, but obviously Fnatic just feel like a cut above so often in their wins. Kia player of the game at LEC on Twitter, Humanoid upset Hylissang.
As much as I would celebrate upsets 1,000 kills, Hilly did pop off.
Hilly did pop off.
He was everywhere.
Yeah. Only got 2 deaths because of 1 misposition in
and
a team
one
fight,
diving the Nexus.
And 1 diving the Nexus.
As he always does. Doesn't care about his KDA.
There you go. Bring it down.
Yeah.
The lowest.
The lower
the better. For it. That's all we want. Taking time, though, of course, congrats again to Fnatic locking top 2. It's big. Exciting to see who will get first. Time to find out. The fight for first, of course, going to continue up next with Rogue versus G2. And after the break, Wunder is going to join us at the desk to preview the last game of the Spring 2022 regular season.
Week 8 already. Last game.
Wow.